Hello and welcome to the very first planning meeting for the Contributor Summit EU 2024. Just a reminder to everyone that this meeting is under the Kubernetes Code of Conduct, can be summarized as please be excellent to one another, but I encourage everyone to go read it themselves as well. If you would like to report a code of conduct issue or chat about anything, you can contact conduct@kubernetes.io. With that, I am gonna just kick off the lead updates, and then I'll pass to Arnaud to do the same if he has anything he'd like to add. We are still sorting out leads. So I think the last one that we do not have yet. So Caslin, you're able to take the meet and greet, is that correct? So that should we have is Natalie, are you able to lead comms in that case?
Yeah, it's Kelly and I had it before this meeting, and that's the idea that we've come up with. Yeah.
Awesome. In that case, I will make sure to get the issue updated to reflect that. And then I think we are just looking for a day of ops lead. At this point is the only one left that we have a shadow and a volunteer both listed for day of ops, but we need someone to lead that. And oh my goodness, the cat, sorry. Ideally it would be great to find someone EU based that could take that role too. I know we kind of wanted to focus the leads EU based where we could and where folks were available to. I think given that that's the last role that we need to fill, like top priority is filling it. But if there is someone EU based that is interested, that would be fantastic. If anyone knows anyone or has any thoughts on that, super open to hearing that. That's just the last one that we need to get in place going forward. Natalie.
I'd also suggest that Day of Ops is someone that absolutely needs to be on site. So confirmation that will be at KubeCon is needed like sooner rather than later.
We do have that on the so on the issue. There's two roles. Day of Ops has in parens required on site, and SIG meet and greet and social have social and Day of Ops are required on site. SIG meet and greet is parens preferred on site. Yes, I see Caslin had a hand and then Noah.
I think Noah's hand went up first, but
Zoom doesn't do a good job of telling me that. That is disappointing.
But
Zoom.
Either way, Noah, do you want to go first or me?
I was just gonna say that even though Ops has to have a grasp on everything that's happening, because most of Ops duties tend to come later in the cycle. If Ops is the last role to be filled, it's not a huge problem. That's all.
Another thing that I discussed with Natalie and also with you, Xander, is that I am interested in Day of Ops, and I'm pretty much sure that I will be there. So I'm up for taking on the role, at least for now. I think it's such a big role that it would be nice to have co-leads on it anyway for actual day of. So if we find someone else along the way, it would be great to have co-leads. But yeah, I can take it for now.
I'll put you down as interim, and then we'll try to get a co-lead in place.
Yeah.
And then we should, because like I said, there's already a shadow and a volunteer for that one as well. We've got both Carlos and Puya down to help out with that. So cool. I think we have great folks on it. So yeah, that could be a good stopgap solution.
And I'm thinking that I can probably do both meet and greet and at least Day of Ops. I think I could do because meet and greet is on the last day of the conference, and
that feels like too much.
Feels like too much. Okay.
Surely we can find somebody else who can do Mortal Kombat Community College.
Why I wanted to mention it to see if I could get some more feedback from folks.
I wouldn't want it to be just you leading Day of Ops and then also leading the meet and greet. That's not That's
Yeah.
to have you on 2 as the only lead is not
Correct.
too much
If-
for you.
Hey, I'm
If you want to volunteer day of, that's fine. Because like MKCC doesn't have anything to do day of, so volunteering is perfectly fine though. Yeah. Cool.
hey, I am still not sure if I'm gonna be able to go. But if I can iron that out, hopefully in the next couple of weeks I can do the meet and greet. I'm not US based, I mean EU based, but I mean happy to help if we really need it. But if we can't find an EU person, then I'll do it.
Right.
Honestly, I feel like we need someone dedicated just to building out the EU bench.
You know,
Yeah.
I'd really just like more contributors to the Kubernetes project from the EU too. So like we have a couple of problems to solve on that front.
All right. Well, that was all that I had on my agenda. I think I'll pass to Arnaud for anything that he wants to add, and then we'll run down the list.
I think basically the conversation was about how we build a team with a focus on EU time zone, but do we also want to change the time of this meeting? Having something like EU friendly and Asia friendly at some point.
Yeah, I think if we bump to an hour earlier, how does that line up for what does that end up being for EU time? Is that 4 p.m.?
It's 5
No.
p.m.
It's
5.
gonna be 5 p.m. So I'm like, can we do this between 1 and 3 p.m.? But also that's gonna be very early for you.
But then if we've got Aslan leading an area, for example, that's a horrible time for West Coast.
It's
Yeah.
9 a.m. for me right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, wow.
I could do like Burkus mentioned, I could bump to 7 a.m. Pacific time. Like that, it's early, but I can happily do that, and then that puts it 4 p.m. EU. And then IST, it's getting a little, I don't remember I think that might be 5. So I think, yeah, like Josh said, if we bump to 7 a.m. Pacific, it's like a slightly inconvenient time for everybody, but a time that is possible for everyone, I think.
I would also advocate for the meetings not being on Mondays just because of all the holidays. Monday and Friday, I feel like are not super awesome days for planning meetings, especially like getting up close to this one. We don't want to have to miss a day or have to reschedule.
I think the trouble with that, it is
Conflicts.
definitely a valid concern. The trouble with that is that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, especially Wednesday, are slammed with other upstream meetings, like other SIG meetings and such, especially at the but not typically at the 7 a.m. time block Pacific time. So
I feel like I agree with you, Nigel, that like there's a lot of holidays, but I feel like we might have to just be better at async updates if that's the case. Because like I think Bob just mentioned it, but I think the reason that this date was chosen was that it was better than any other time for a while because of other upstream meetings.
Oh, we can do rotations. I think we have like meeting every week. We can have like one US, one EU. So
that's how our release team does it, and then just do async aside.
Yeah. So like I think basically we only have like three months. That's gonna go fast because December is like holiday month. So we only have like 2 months. So I feel like we want to rotate so we get maximum participation. So over 4 meetings, we're gonna have like I would say 10 meetings. until KubeCon. So
Yeah.
let's try to rotate that and basically say, yeah, to EU, to US.
And while we're on that topic, we need to figure out what the deadlines are going to be along that way, because if we get to, we need to close the CFP in time, which means we need to open the CFP in time, which means we might only have like 3 or 4 meetings before we have to open the CFP at this point.
Do we want to wait from Brian to provide feedback? Because I was like asking last time on Slack, like, what's the deadline for them, like Reg, CFP, this kind of stuff. But they have nothing planned at this moment. So I'm like, how are we going to define our own schedule if CNCF is still not ready? Yeah, okay. So I think the two things, according to Bob, and I think Bob had good suggestion, we basically need to have website up and running before end of the year. Also, by beginning of January, we send the invitation for the CFP.
We talked about having a website lead, didn't we?
Yeah, it would be under comms.
Under comms, okay.
Yeah. So Avinash will be shadowing comms this time. But I remember you, Puya, you had also mentioned a possible interest, but if you don't have the interest anymore, that's also fine.
I know I'm currently a bit stuffed, to be honest. Like I could most probably starting of next year do things, but I think until end of year, realistically, I'm not reliable enough until end of year, let's say.
All good. We website will be under comms. We can definitely get something up before the end of the year. Like we're not changing the website, we're just changing the words and content inside, so we can do that. I think the other thing too is noting the CFP stuff, making sure that content folks are kind of, if we're going to do that soon, we might need like engagement and information from content folks ASAP on that stuff as well. And I would want to work with them to get that stuff on the website as needed.
All right, I'm going through and adding names to the ones we've got leads for too. Don't believe FICA is on the call, so I'll check in with her, make sure that we're all set there. And then I don't think Kaylin is on the call either, but I know it's a little early still for celebration. Yeah, it looks like a lot of our leads were not able to make this one, so maybe revisiting the time is a good idea.
We also have a bunch of people that had one-off things show up this morning,
as is wont to happen. Yeah.
So what are our action items for this week so far? We need to figure out the dates. We need to get a website up. Who takes the CFP? I'm trying to remember. Reg takes the CFP?
Content
takes the CFP. Thank you.
And then what we'd probably want to do is write up, like if we're looking for more like people in the planning team, maybe we just want to kind of do some call outs for that, either email or Slack or both, maybe. I don't know if you want that to be like a comms thing, or if I know Xander, you want to just ask folks, hey, who's around and wants to help out. Don't know.
I wonder if that's something like that we need to like do direct recruiting for, like if we know people that we should be reaching out directly as opposed to the email blasts.
Our passive, lazy consensus on trying to get leads doesn't seem to be pulling in quite the
that's
number
what
of people we hoped it would.
yeah, I think as well, like people would maybe be more inclined if we're approaching the directive to say, hey, like we want you to do this. So I think the onus is on us right now to find folks because the methods we're using aren't working.
Would somebody want to go through the previous staffing issues so we can try and get a list of candidates, see what the previous shadows have been and who we can potentially reach out to?
Yeah, I can work on that.
And then in terms of dates that we need to get, I guess I know you had mentioned that we might be waiting on Bryn for a couple of things, but in terms of CFP, I don't know how much time we usually give, but if we already know possibly dates, maybe we can already have that up on the site like sooner.
Well, we can basically send the call for basically the CFP notice to the dev mailing list. We basically collect that, and while we collect that, we can basically walk on website and wait for Brian to give us some kind of schedule. Because yeah, better to basically send a notice to the community to say, hey, we want basically we are hoping to CFP get your proposal in, and I think we can like have a deadline by end of February. So that gave us like two months for people to get the
Are you
CFP
saying
in.
are you saying the CFP deadline by end of Feb? But isn't KubeCon
Yeah.
in March?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think they need more. I think content needs more time to like choose stuff and schedule everything, and people need to know if they're speaking more than 2 weeks before the summit. No.
The schedule for KubeCon should be in February. We're gonna have this.
Got it. So the decided, like the schedule done by end of February. Understood. Okay. Sorry. I thought you meant the end of the CFP, and I was like, I think we need more time. Great.
Yeah, so CFP is like January 22, and us could be like in last week of February. So basically, people know this kind of stuff.
So do
I think
want
we said we want to have at least a
open?
month.
Yeah.
Do we want the CFP open past KubeCon speaker notifications?
I
Like
feel
maybe-
like we should, because CFP also trigger budget approval. CFP for KubeCon trigger budget approval, so you might have people interested to give talks in Contributor Summit because they know they will travel.
So then January 29th to end the CFP, or like just 1 week after people know speaking at
Early
KubeCon?
February, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like 2 to 3 weeks, so people can figure out what they want to talk to.
What's the actual date of the conference?
19th to the 21st of March.
So we need to have the schedule up by, I'd say, February 20th.
All right, yeah, let's loop Ray in on that. All right, I think we have a solid list of action items for the next week. This is gonna come up quick.
So I threw it in chat, but I'm going to suggest if we're going to do alternating times, maybe we might want to do both meeting times every week. just so we don't end up with, oh, we had 5 meetings and now the summit is here.
Mm,
And that if we have people that can only attend one versus the other, then that's fine.
yeah. I'm trying to see the implication, but I don't see any downside of doing this. Yeah, we can have both meeting the same week. And when I say both, like one for EU, one for US, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that would work.
Mm.
That is what we do in the later part of the release cycle. We have IST friendly and US friendly every week. Website, Caslin, I think yeah, that falls under comms. So I think, oh, this is my other action item. If each lead could go through the team building issue and look at folks that have volunteered to shadow or volunteer, what have you, for your role, that would be helpful to kind of, if you want to build up a team any further. And I think at least for Natalie's case, that would probably help find someone. I think there were some comms volunteers there that can help you find someone who will do the website.
Yeah, just
I've heard a lot of interest in helping with comms. So
yeah, and just to answer your question, cousin, on about like not doing the website like previously, the last Contrib Summit, we just had apparently the leads were doing it, but it wasn't really documented. And I think as a group we decided that it should fall under comms from this time onwards. So that's like a relatively new decision. Yeah.
Yeah, and the problem with not having one person in charge of the website was that some things just didn't happen because nobody was sure who should do them. And so things like, for example, the deadline for submitting proposals only showed up on the site like 4 days before the actual deadline. You know, and again, it's because everybody was doing the website as sort of an accessory to their main job. So.
Also, Mofi has
a hand up. Yeah.
Hey everyone. I think this is the first time I joined the meeting. I'm in Calvin's team work at Google. Happy to take the website work if no one else is. I saw Josh said he wanted to do it, but one-time apprentice. So either happy to be an apprentice to Josh or happy to do it with guidance from folks here.
That would be fantastic. I can add you to the team building issue under website, and yeah, that would be fantastic. Right. Thank you.
Wait, let me clarify. I said I could do it if we don't have anybody else with experience. Not that I wanted to do it.
I was about to say, Murphy, that's great. There's a bunch of us in this room that just became approvers of the site, and I can give you a list of the people you can tag in to make sure we can approve the changes that go up ASAP. I know myself, Laura, I think Puya as well, plus Josh. We're all up there as like approvers, so we can help you out with that to make sure that content is up there ASAP.
Cool. I
think volunteer.
I think we're probably in a place where we can wrap up this week. We've got a good set of items to do over the next week here. Caslin, I'll reach out to talk about scheduling meeting stuff. And we'll loop in Arno to like figure out the right time for EU and stuff and go from there. But yeah, we'll handle that async. Cool. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope y'all have a fantastic week. And yeah, this is gonna go good. I'll just say that up front so it manifests.
And for folks who are new, feel free to use the Summit staff channel for any questions you have, async as much as possible as well, please. For those who don't know how to do that, like that, we do that a lot. Summit staff, join it.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.
See you soon. Bye bye.